Hello everyone, my name is Laura. This is my channel, Laura's Little Library, and welcome to today's video, which is my entire physical TBR. So these are all the books that I own that I have not read. Luckily, I did a really good job of completing my goal last year and reducing the number of books that I own physically that I haven't read. However, I still have a very full TBR cart. So I'm going to go through all the books that I have, that I own, that I have bought, that I have not read yet. And we are going to just go through them very quickly, and hopefully I will reduce the number for next year. Hopefully, in theory, I hope to read all of these books this year in 2025, and then for next year, my physical TBR will be only books that I purchased this year that I didn't read, and hopefully it will be much smaller than the current number that I have now. So, without further ado, let's get into all the books that I own that I have not read yet. First off, I have volumes 7, 8, and 9. Yep. 7, 8, and 9 of Spy X Family, and this is by Tatsuya Endo, and I read this manga and then I watch the anime, but I somehow have 3 volumes that I haven't read yet, so that's a fairly easy fix. I definitely need to just do that. So I will be reading those 3 volumes. I have a couple of holiday reads from this past holiday season that I haven't finished. So Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. I am currently reading this, so hopefully it won't stay on there for much longer. And then I also have The Christmas Crush, and this is by Noelle Douglas, another holiday romance with baking, and Mom Com by Adriana Mather, another Christmas baking romance. So the rest of the books on top of my TBR cart, because that's the thing, all of these books fit on the TBR cart, which was my goal, so woohoo. I have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I am currently reading this, so hopefully I will actually finish this fairly soon, within the month of January. I have Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, also by Ashley Herring Blake. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care and I loved it, so now I have Iris Kelly, and again, I should be getting to this pretty soon because I have the audiobook for it, but I own the physical copy and I haven't read it yet. We have The Throne of Secrets by Carrie Maniscalco. Again, I have the audiobook. I am very motivated. I really want to read this, but as of right now, filming this video early January, I haven't read it yet, so. Apprentice to the Villain, and this is by Hannah Nicole Mayer, and this is the second book in a series. It's the most recent one to come out, but I think the third one will be coming out soon, so I should definitely read this pretty quickly. Fathom Folk, and this is by Eliza Chen. This is the first book in a series. I'm not sure if the second one is out yet or if it's about to come out, but this is like a fantasy. I'm excited to read it. Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I just got this book for Christmas, so it kind of makes sense that I haven't read it yet, but it's on my physical TBR, so. An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. This is a dark academia that I have been wanting to read. Like, I keep saying, oh, I'm gonna read that next, oh, I'm gonna read that next. I haven't done it, so it's still on the physical TBR. The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. This is the third book in this kind of universe series, and it follows the 13th child, like kind of thriller, horror, fantasy, so hopefully I'll be getting to this one soon as well. All the books on top of my TBR are the ones I'm going to get to soon, or I'm hoping to get to soon. So that's why you're getting all this like, oh, I'm gonna read it. Like, yes, I'm gonna read all of these, but these ones sooner rather than later. I have Murder in the Family by Kira Hunter. I was actually going to buddy read this with a friend of mine, and both of us have gotten that far in, and that's where we've kind of put a pause because life got busy. So I am technically currently reading this, but I haven't picked it up in quite a while. Then I have The Night Ends with Fire, and this is by KX Song. I think this is a series. I'm not super sure. I think it's mythology. It's definitely fantasy. I don't even remember how I got this. I think I got it for like super cheap or something. So, but look at those sprayed edges. So. And then I also have Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I could either read this very soon or read this next spooky season. It's kind of no in between, so. But I have it, it's here waiting for me whenever I'm ready to pick it up. And then I have Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. This is the second book. I have the first one. I read the first one and I loved it. So now I need to read the second one. Super great female Indiana Jones historical fiction. Love it. So I'm really excited to pick this one up and hopefully I can get to it soon. Speaking of second book in the series, I have Stranger Skies, and this is by Pascal Lascelles. And this is the second book in the Drowned Gods. I think it's a duology. I am currently reading this. I am 20% of the way. It is my current audiobook, so this is gonna be the next book that I finish for sure. And it's a bit of a chonker, but it's also so pretty. So this will not be on my TBR cart for very long either. This next bit is a little bit crazy because I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. And I have The Ashes and the Star-Crossed King, and The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. So I have the first 3 books in this series. They all say that they are a Crowns of Nixia novel, so I don't know if it's actually a series that you read them in order, but I'm definitely going to read them in publication order just in case. I bought books 2 and 3, and there is another one, there is a 4th one, but I bought books 2 and 3 without reading the first one just because if I do like them, I want to have them all in hardcover, so I want to make sure that I purchase them so that they're all matching, even if I haven't read them yet. So I am really hoping I like this series because I've invested a decent amount of money into them. I should read this soon. I hopefully will, but who knows? So these are all living on my TBR cart. The Girl with No Reflection, and this is by Keisha Chow. So sorry, but this one I always look at and I'm like, oh, I don't think it's that interesting, and then I read the synopsis and I'm like, this is so interesting. Why haven't I read this yet? So being on the TBR cart, I'll get there. The good thing about all this is that I am motivated to read all the books on this TBR cart. There are just so many. I have Casey McQuiston's new book, and that is called The Pairing. And so this is obviously Casey McQuiston, contemporary romance. I got it because it was her newest one to come out and I liked her other books. So, and look at the pretty sprayed edges again. So I have this one on here as well, and this feels like a good summer book read. And then the final non-spooky season read that I have is Mother Tongue, and this is a memoir actually by Christine Gilbert. I do not read memoirs. I typically don't care for memoirs, biographies of any kind. I just don't read nonfiction. However, we were doing a book crawl in the city that we live in, and I saw this and I was like, yeah, this is actually a book that I definitely need to read because it is my family's globe-trotting quest to dream in Mandarin, laugh in Arabic, and sing in Spanish. So those are all languages that I have devoted time of study for, and if you didn't know that or you are intrigued by language learning stuff, I do have another YouTube channel, Languages with Laura, that you can check out if you want. But so this book did fascinate me while we were on that book crawl, and it's a very good fit. So hopefully I'll read a nonfiction book this year. Now, all the rest of the books on the TBR are all spooky season books. They're all dark fantasy, mystery, thriller. I went a little crazy this past year on the spooky season books, and of course I didn't get to all of them, so now they all just live on my TBR cart, and I will be geared up for this coming spooky season where hopefully I will not buy any more books. But those include Magic Lies and Deadly Pies, and this is by Misha Pop. It sounds like one of those cutesy murderous books, it's like that Finley Donovan or Dial A for Aunties. The main character kind of is the killer or is involved with the killing in some way, and it seems to be lighthearted and comical even though it's all about death. So, and it's baking. I love baking. I have A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons by Kate Kabari, and this is a historical fiction with a dinner party and botany. Quite a few of these books actually have botany as a theme, either in the story or on the cover. I don't know why that is, but it is that way. So I have this one. I have A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. It's like a Frankenstein, but botanical daughter, so that sounded very intriguing. I have Our Hideous Progeny by C.E. McGill. I believe this is a little more horror, but again, it's a very Frankenstein, like it follows other members of Frankenstein's family. So, but again, it looks very botanical. I don't know if that's just the cover or if the book itself deals with a lot of that. We also have Only the Guilty Survive, and this is by Kate Roberts. This was actually the book club book for a local bookstore that I have, and I'm not part of the book club, but they do a sale on whatever the book club pick is, and so I thought I would read this and decide if I wanted to join the book club or not. Obviously, I haven't read it, so I haven't been able to look into the book club further, but I am still interested. I am a part of another book club that is purely online though, which is really nice, and I am still in school, so we'll see if I can add another book club, but it'd be nice to have one that's in person. But again, a very botanical cover. Don't know if the story is, but Only the Guilty Survive. So then the last of the botanical-esque horror thriller books is Gothica, and this is by Rune Nix, and this is a tale of dark romance. I believe it's a very, very dark Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's not botanical, but there is a rose on the cover, so I get the feeling this is going to be very dark. I have Where the Briars Sleep by Emma Baven. I've owned this book for so long. I actually had 2 copies of it, but I think I put one of them in the free little library that I have. It was a hardcover, and so I have this version as well. I still need to read it. I've had it for years and years. I cannot believe I haven't read it, but oh well. I have Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, and I read Paul Tremblay's other books, The Cabin at the End of the World or something, and I wasn't super thrilled by it. I didn't really like it all that much, but this is a shorter book, and I've heard good things about it, so I thought I'd pick it up anyway. I have The September House by Carissa Orlando, classic, spooky, haunted house type thriller, horror. I don't have to read it in September. I told myself I do not have to read this in September, but since spooky season has passed, it is very autumnal, I think, so I might save it for September. I have The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Peñaranda, and this is not actually a horror thriller, but it is a fantasy, and it has a dark cover. So, The Midnight Fleece by Lucy Foley. I haven't read a lot of Lucy Foley, but it's a classic thriller, so welcome to the opening weekend of the Manor, a luxury resort built on top of old secrets in an ancient forest. Really, it's the ancient forest that caught my eye on that one. I'm trying to rush now. Murder Your Employer, woohoo, by Rupert Holmes, McMaster's Guide to Homicide. It's people learning how to kill their employers. I don't think it'll be funny, but it'll be interesting. Then I have The Coven by Harper L. Woods, and I believe the second book to this is out. And the other thing with a lot of these, also so pretty, a lot of these spooky season books is that they're actually not that long, so I can read a ton of them if I just sit down. Like, they should go fairly quickly. The next chunk of books are basically all of Riley Sager. The only Riley Sager book I don't have is the newest one, and that's because it came out in hardcover and I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback. I have not read a single Riley Sager book because I want to sit down and read them all. First book, Final Girls, all the way through the most recently published. So that's a whole thing. I have them all. They're ready to go. I just need to sit down and read all of these books. The final book on this physical TBR, the only book left other than like completion of series for a couple of them, is The Blood Orchid, and this is by Kylie Lee Baker. I got this from my Secret Santa for Christmas. It's the second book after The Scarlet Alchemist, so it makes sense that I haven't read it yet, but it is on my physical TBR. In terms of like unfinished series, I have the Throne of Glass. I'm not going to take them all down, but just note that I am halfway through Throne of Glass and I am doing a reading vlog for it, so just have that in the back of your mind. And yeah, those are all the books on my physical TBR that I have not read. So, thank you all very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you own a ton of books that you haven't read yet. If you want to share numbers, you can. If you are like, nope, I'm a library person all the way, good for you. I am happy for you. But thank you all for watching. If you like bookish content, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. I post videos every week, and I have other bookish social media linked in the description below that you can follow me on, so definitely check those out. Again, thank you all very much for watching, and until I see you in the next one, happy reading!